When the New York Knicks acquired Karl Anthony Towns, there was a lot of uncertainty. Trading away Julius Randle, who brought Knicks basketball back to life, and Donte DiVincenzo had Knicks fans in shambles. But there's one thing we've learned. Knicks fans were totally wrong. As we head into the new year, let's dive a little deeper into how this trade has panned out. Back in 2019, the Knicks fell short on Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving in free agency and missed out on Zion Williamson in the NBA draft. Knicks fans lost all hope, and when they signed Julius Randle, Knicks fans felt that it was the ultimate consolation prize. But little did they know, Randle would be a catalyst to change the culture of the organization. During his time as a Knick, Randle became a three-time All-Star and brought the Knicks to multiple playoff appearances with a very mid-supporting cast. As good as Randle was in his time with the Knicks, they never could get over that one hurdle. Randle gained Duke's RJ Barrett, and many hoped they could be the face of the organization for the next 5 to 10 years. While both had plenty of individual success, the overall team play never could get to that championship level. In 2022, when the Knicks went out and signed backup point guard Jalen Brunson from the Dallas Mavericks, the response from the media was negative. Overpay, panic move, the Knicks will Knick. There were certainly question marks regarding the Brunson signing. Often called undersized, hasn't played starting point guard minutes for a full season, but like most remembered, the guy is a winner. From 2015 to 2018, Brunson became one of the most accomplished basketball players to walk through Villanova. Winning 2 NCAA titles in his 3 years there, he was also a 2-time Big East first-team selection, National Player of the Year, and won numerous academic awards. So what seemed like an overpay and panic move by the Knicks organization, when you dug deeper into the player Brunson truly was it really an overpay? Well, we've learned that the old days of the Knicks are a thing of the past. Brunson came to New York after a very impressive playoff run with Luka Doncic out, and let's just say the man delivered. In the 18 games he started during the 2022 NBA playoffs, he averaged 22 points per game with 5 rebounds and 4 assists per game. Leading the Mavericks to a Western Conference Finals, he certainly showed he deserved to be a starting point guard somewhere in the league. Let's just say that Brunson's first year as a Knick was nothing short of jaw-dropping, and even his college coach Jay Wright was stunned. "I didn't think Brunson would be this good," Wright said during an exclusive appearance this week on CBS Sports' Beyond the Arc podcast. "I thought he would be a point guard on an NBA championship team because he's such a winner. I thought he'd get with Luka Doncic. I thought that was a great situation for him. I thought he'd get with Luka and lead a team to an NBA playoff. Maybe a more talented player might be the leading scorer, but he'd be the leader. When that talented player got hurt sometimes and he needed to score, he'd score. That's what I thought his NBA career would be." Averaging 24 points per game with 6 assists and 3.5 rebounds per game on 42% shooting from deep. For the first time in what felt like an eternity, the Knicks truly had found their point guard. I mean, they were hanging on by a thread with point guards like Elfrid Payton, Jose Calderon, Frank Ntilikina, and Tony Douglas. They were always lacking that one man to lead the show. The 3 lefties, Brunson, RJ, and Randle, essentially were 3 ball-dominant players, all of which could play at an all-star level. But when you have 3 ball-dominant players, it's difficult to get other guys involved and truly have an identity as a team. And this hurt the Knicks when trying to compete for an NBA championship. So what do the Knicks do? They go out and make a very under-the-radar trade in February 2023 that nearly everyone skipped caring about, and acquired Josh Hart from the Portland Trail Blazers for Cam Reddish. We'll get into the details more throughout the video as to why this deal needs to be discussed more. Back around New Year's Eve of 2023, when the Knicks made a trade for OG Anunoby and Precious Achiuwa while sending away RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley, again, many people had concerns. At first, we were all skeptical of the trade. Quickley was the runner-up for the Sixth Man of the Year, Barrett was making strides towards maybe becoming an all-star, and OG was averaging roughly 12 points per game. Some people were left scratching their head, but again, now, it all makes sense. In July 2024, the Knicks went out and traded 5 first-rounders to the crosstown rivals for Mikal Bridges, and at this point, the Villanova Knicks were complete. They just came off an impressive 23-24 season where they were without Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson, and OG during their playoff run. So what did that mean for the upcoming 2024 season? Like many, you hoped after signing Mikal in the offseason, you run it back with the same exact group and hope you have the luck of health to get this team through to the end. Well, this wasn't necessarily the case. They go out and extend OG's contract for over $230 million, but then lost their starting center in Isaiah Hartenstein. So now you look at a roster that has Jalen Brunson at the point, Mikal Bridges at shooting guard, OG at the small forward, Julius Randle at power forward, and Mitchell Robinson at the center, while having the two other Villanova fellas, Donte DiVincenzo and Josh Hart, coming off the bench. On paper, yeah, this team could be a 50-plus win team, but how will they mesh together? Does Randle get frustrated with the Villanova brotherhood? How will Josh Hart and DiVincenzo deal with coming off the bench after a stellar postseason where both saw 35-plus minutes per game? Although the roster on paper makes sense, the talent was certainly there, but something was missing. Then, everything changed on October 2nd, 2024. The Knicks sent Julius Randle, Donte DiVincenzo, and a first-rounder to the Minnesota Timberwolves for Karl Anthony Towns, aka KAT, Big Purr, the Big Bodega, and yet again, the speculation only continued. How could the Knicks trade away the guy who brought the Knicks back to relevancy? How could they break up the fourth piece of the Villanova Knicks? Well, like the title says, we now know why Jalen Brunson wanted KAT. KAT was drafted first overall to Minnesota in 2015 and was the face of their franchise till the day they shipped him off to New York. He established himself early on, winning Rookie of the Year honors, and only improved throughout time. The four-time All-Star even won the 2022 three-point contest. So we fast forward now to 2024. The Knicks make a big move for KAT. But how are things looking? Well, let's start by seeing how the Timberwolves are performing this year. Randle seems to be the same player he was on the Knicks, although there are certainly signs of regression, or maybe it's just bad chemistry. During his time in New York from 2019 to 2024, he averaged 23 points per game to go along with 10 boards and 5 assists. But so far in Minnesota, he's not getting as many opportunities with the ball due to their young superstar Anthony Edwards being the franchise player. Randle is still averaging 20 a game with 7 boards and 4 assists, but shooting better from deep. DiVincenzo hasn't looked like the player he was while in New York. He's still getting 25 minutes a game, but the production and the overall fit with how Minnesota plays, it's just not working. From having a career year averaging nearly 16 points a game while being a 40% plus sniper from deep, his identity with them is simply lacking. Only averaging 9 points a game thus far is simply not what Minnesota hoped to get in return for KAT. The Wolves are a middle-of-the-pack team that's soft as hell, per Anthony Edwards. But moving on to the Knicks. It's still early in the 24-25 NBA season, but boy are these Knicks special, and they've shown signs of real promise. Coming into the season, there was certainly speculation with Bridges. His new shot form was concerning, and that preseason was nothing short of horrid. Brick after brick. But hey, he doesn't need to give them 25 the way he did in Brooklyn. And the speculation only continued with KAT. How would he be in the New York media? Is he too soft to play in New York? His defense was a concern amongst most, but through the first few months of the season, he's shut the critics up fast. Little do most know, this is the best shooting big man to ever play the game. And yeah, it's not really much of a debate. At 7 feet tall, the man has averaged 23 points per game with 11 rebounds and 40% shooting from deep. That man is a problem on the offensive side of the ball. Since joining the Knicks and starting the 24-25 NBA season, KAT is averaging just under 25 points per game on a league-leading 14 rebounds per game, while shooting 45% from deep. And this man has another all-star with the Rock in Jalen Brunson. And it's all making more and more sense why KAT fits this team led by the captain. When you have a dominant point guard in Brunson, who can get to any spot on the floor at will only at 6'2", it creates a lot of open space. You have two of the best corner three shooters in the game between OG and Mikal. Josh Hart does simply everything, every game. He's the ultimate glue guy for any organization and never takes a minute off. The spacing of a 7-footer who can nail shots from anywhere on the court benefits Brunson beyond belief. He can still get to his spots, create for himself, but he has an outlet in nearly any direction. The pick and roll has turned more into a pick and pop, and off-ball movement has created opportunities for everyone. It's crazy. The Knicks went from needing a point guard who can get them 30 a game to now where if Brunson gives them 15, they still have a very good chance of winning just based on the surrounding cast. It's a dream for Brunson. Two of the best 3-and-D wings in OG and McHale, a dog in Josh Hart, and the best shooting big in NBA history. But is it enough to take down the top dogs? This Celtics team, led by Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown, is absolutely loaded. A deep, well-coached, poised team looking to pull off the repeat. On paper, I'd say, yeah, the Knicks could play neck and neck with the Celtics, but how will their defense hold up in a Game 7 at TD Garden? How does Mitchell Robinson get incorporated once he returns from injury? After this year, if it's not an Eastern Conference Finals appearance, what's the next move? Some speculate adding another star like Donovan Mitchell is what's needed to truly become a championship contender. But like all things, it's just speculation, and anything can happen, especially in the best 2 words in sports, Game 7. But what are your thoughts? Do you think the Knicks have what it takes now to win a championship? Do they need to make another move at the trade deadline? Let us know in the comments below. And if you liked this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more just like it. We'll see you in the next one.